Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the Aztec 7 build series. Today, it's engine teardown time. This is a 1969, I believe H4 Volkswagen engine. Maybe 50 horsepower, 49 horsepower. This is a temporary engine, don't worry about it. It's just so that we can have a good engine to put on the car so that while we're doing the body work, all this stuff and putting it on, we at least know it runs. And I know I said we're putting a V8 in it. We are. Don't worry about that. But the thing is, the frame setup to put a V8 in it is going to require us to actually have to go in, cut off the back end, front end, make a whole custom frame. So temporarily, just to have good content, and on top of that, to show y'all that the car will actually run, we're going to build this engine that came with the car and already has transmission and everything, restore this, make it look brand new, get the car running, and as soon as we're done with body work and paint and everything, sell the engine transmission, use that money towards an entire build series on a naturally aspirated V8, or even supercharged if we want to go with an Edelbrock style supercharger. But we're going to start this episode off by tearing this thing down and getting ready to put it back together in the next couple weeks.
Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. See the horizon turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on
Alright, so we've got all the bolts or nuts and bolts removed on the exhaust and the heating things on the sides. As you saw in it, we had to actually take a chisel and hammer and break, I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 8 nuts had to be broken. That's normal. When these are these get really rusted, and I don't know what it is with the German engineering, but on just about all Beetles, if they've been sitting for a while, the exhaust manifold where it attaches to the actual engine itself, it just gets so rusted it won't even come loose. Now obviously I said 2 of them I got lucky, but the rest of them I just had to break and they look like a Cheerio. But everything's loose now, so go ahead and remove this. just see how much rust this is in this thing. That's why we're just getting a nice galvanized steel tubular exhaust. That is what I call a piece of junk. Look at this thing. Thing is disgusting. It sounds god awful. No offense to all you VW people out there, but it sounds like a cricket. Let's go ahead and set this down. And now I will remove finger pieces. I don't even know what this is, I'll be honest with you. More tubes, I just don't even care too much about it. Alright. Ah, forgot about that. There's actually bolts over here that need to be removed real quick. Let's find I believe it's a 10 millimeter. Remember, whenever you're working on Volkswagen stuff, anything German, Bugatti, or any of that type of stuff, it's all going to be in the metric system. I mean, I'll be honest, this thing probably weighs 15 pounds, and when I put the hollow J-tubes in, it's probably going to make it 30,000 times lighter. There's some more nuts and bolts. And let's do this side where I'm not going to slide this over. This engine is going to be so much lighter when we're finished with this, so I'm glad we're getting this done.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes.
Okay, so we did a time lapse of that. I forgot that on the bottom side there's two plates. There's two plates under here that on both sides that hold on the heaters. I just had to break it off. Note to self, if you're ever going to rebuild a VW engine, make sure to be prepared to use a hammer and chisel. Yeah, this is, these nuts don't mess around. But so we got the exhaust off, we got the heaters off. Next thing is going to be the alternator with the thermostat and air box. But so I was going to go through this with y'all. It sucks in that hot air and it shoots it out this thing, and that's how. And when you pull that string, if this was in working condition, this regulates right here back and forth. That'll open up and close it so you get hot air in your car. But I mean, here in North Carolina we don't really need that. And I'm not going to be driving it like crazy in the winter anyways. Most of this winter actually will be painting it, getting it body work, and maybe if we actually finish painting at some point, we'll be upgrading it. So we don't need the heater. Exhaust is heavy, it has all this muffler stuff. So we're going to go and buy a tubular exhaust to replace this. But that's the exhaust right there. Now we're going to move on to the airbox. And I'll catch you in a minute. So this is the thermostat. We will be removing this right now. It's this bolt and this bolt. If you ever remove a thermostat off a VW engine, that's an old one and it has been replaced since new, please replace it. They're not very expensive. They might be 20, 30 bucks. And the last thing that you want to do is put the original one on, be driving down the road, and your entire car or your engine overheats because you have an old thermostat on. So we have to remove the thermostat. Once the thermostat is removed, I will then fold this back up. We will remove the bolts off the air box, and it should just slide straight out with the alternator. But catch you in the time lapse. So, I then have already removed the thermostat, as I already showed you. Now, the alternator has this strap on it, and all it is a 13 millimeter bolt, which loosens up the strap real quick. This is really quick and simple. Once that strap is then loosened, it's pretty loose by now. There we go. Then, get your flathead screwdriver. There's one screw right here, and there's also one on the other side. Once these are removed, theoretically, the entire airbox should lift off and should expose everything else. And then from that point, we will then remove the carburetor with the intake manifold, the alternator bracket, and then so on and so forth. I don't know if I explained this in the previous episode or at the beginning of this video, but this engine is seized. I believe the piston rings are frozen up. We're just going to completely replace them. But here we go. This will come on this side. It should lift straight up like that. Now, right over here. Hold up. I have the thermostat. Let me show them. So, this right here is your alternator, and that is attached to the fan on the back. That fan is what cools off your engine. Now, what in the heck did I just drop? Oh, this. This is what your throttle cable goes through. Literally, it just fits through there and it goes through. Nothing big. I'll then be sitting this over here. So, that being said, we have now removed the fan shroud. Wipe off my hands. Let me think of what's next. Oh, intake manifold with the carburetor. So whenever you're doing this, you have two bolts, that's connected to your exhaust. You have two bolts. That is part of your engine, which this little pipe goes down. That's just your intake manifold. Carburetor's attached to this. I just have this loose on there because the way that fan was on there, I could not get to the backside bolt. Should just come off all as one. And that's intake. And we will see you in a minute when I go to remove this. Now is the alternator slash generator bracket. This also has this thing right here. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is a bleeder, or not a bleeder, but like some sort of air tube. I think this is the oil fill. I'm not 100% sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but get a 13 millimeter wrench and begin to remove this. Under here should be, I believe, some sort of shroud. After we remove this bracket, we will then do the oil cooler. This thing has got to be replaced. I mean, it's gummed up. Here, bring it in and show them how gummed up that thing is. You can just see how gummed up that thing is, and show them down here. Look at all that crap. All right, you're good. There's even a, oh, that's disgusting. There's a mouse foot. Oh, that's gross. Literally, there's a foot of a mouse in my engine. I don't know. It's not, you can't really see it. It's just like disgusting. Once we remove both of those, you'll then remove all the sheet metal slash cover things. I don't even know what you want to call them.
Like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect.
This spoil cooler won't come off until we remove the shrouding, because I got to get on the bottom side of it. I forgot there's two nuts down here. But time to remove the shrouds. We'll do a time lapse of that.
We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Alright guys, this is the end of part 2. Part 2.5 will be the other half of the disassembly. That should be posted hopefully tomorrow or the day following that, depending on when we get done editing it. But I hope y'all enjoyed part 2. It should give you some insight on what VW Beetle engines are like. You know, some of these parts are crummy, and 2.5 will show the other half of that, and 3 will be part 3 will be cleaning and painting of the parts and stuff, and then obviously we'll order parts, and that'll be down the road. But thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode.